Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Sense podcast brought to you by AYGF. And in case you've forgotten what sense means, it means sustainability, education, nutrition, social justice, and environment. And to bring you this episode of the Sense podcast is your favorite host, Caroline Godwin. With me today in this session is a very amazing personality, a migration, governance, and climate change expert in the person of Mr. Abraham Iyagi Ennis.
Thank you.
Good morning, Ennis.
Good morning.
Nice to meet you.
It's a
By
pleasure.
way of compliment, you look very good today.
Thank you.
I hope I'm able to check to this morning.
No one at all.
Don't mind that, just to make the air a bit lighter. How are you again?
I'm doing very well.
Okay, today we're discussing leadership, governance, and the subtopic for today is integrity in governance and leadership. Leadership is a very beautiful thing, and to have people lead, we must have integrity, people of integrity. It is actually a core characteristics of a leader, and it is wrong when your integrity is being questioned as a leader. And so today, I hope that we're going to speak to the mind of people. All right. So, in your opinion, Mr. Ennis, what do you think about integrity in governance and leadership?
Good.
What's your opinion about it? Do you think it is necessary? Do you think it's something that we can actually do without? Or
Carol, to begin to define integrity is to oversimplify it or to oversimplify its function.
okay,
Integrity is broad and it should be a part of our everyday life. For particularly in governance, integrity is a quality of principles. It's a quality that emits morals. It's a quality that emits uprightness.
true.
In fact, it is an indispensable element in governance. So a government that lacks integrity is a government that acts without some elements of control. So such a government definitely cannot deliver well. So for the typical governance around this part of the world, integrity is a question and it should be dealt with holistically. Let's take, for instance, in most countries of the world, and Nigeria to be particular, we have some organizations set aside by the government itself to regulate and help manage integrity in government. A typical example of these organizations are ICPC and EFCC. But we have also seen in recent time how these institutions or governments have been used by the same elements in government as medium of revenge against their political enemies.
Okay.
And in most cases, some of these institutions also act without a feel of independence. They are being controlled, they are being coerced and gagged to function in a certain manner without following the due process or the element of the rule of law. So for us to define integrity in government, as I said earlier, is to oversimplify the meaning of integrity. But for us, or for me as an individual, integrity in government is a fundamental principle that every individual occupying any office in government or in a governance space must possess, and it must emit like a light.
I totally agree with you, Mr. Ennis, that to try to define integrity, especially in the context of leadership and governance, is to oversimplify. But then there are certain things that we look out, or people are supposed to look out for, to be able to say that this government, this person in leadership position actually is a person of integrity. So could you please give us maybe examples of these things that we look out for, instances to help clarify, to say that, okay, this person in governance is somebody who is, I don't know how to even put it. Just help me simplify to everybody listening how we can say that this person is someone of integrity. Yes.
Okay. So in public offices, not just in public offices, in our workplace, in the world of work.
Thank you.
People with integrity are easily spotted. They are easily spotted. You can easily pick them out. People who make promises and deliver on the promises they've made, or people who crave uprightness and live an upright life.
Okay.
People who says, okay, we are wasting resources in government and you are not wasting resources in government.
Okay.
You can easily say, oh, this person has some elements of integrity.
Okay.
People who say their word and the word they stand by it and deliver on it owns to they take responsibility, and when there are elements of failure, they take responsibilities for this failure.
Okay.
And provide solutions to common issues. These are people you can easily say, okay, these individuals have integrity. And an individual that also possesses elements of integrity could also be seen in the area of, okay, probably like the institutions I earlier mentioned, as, okay, let's say for instance, typically a president of a country, we have anti-corruption agencies, and you allow them to function without interfering in the activities, allow them to function independently, or we have the judiciary, executive, and we have the legislature. Allow individuals to function separately and effectively, and we deliver on the government promises. So when these individuals are not independent and they are being controlled by a certain group of cabals or individuals, then that government lacks integrity.
Integrity is question. And by this, I'd like to ask one question. Do you think integrity in leadership and governance can be measured? If yes, how can we measure integrity? I know you've given us some instances and some things to look out for, but how do we measure it?
Good. To measure integrity in government is very simple.
Okay.
First of all, we must identify these elements or metrics of measurement. In governance, let's say in the public, in the private space, they call them monitor and evaluation.
Yes.
So there must be metrics for measurement to ensure that a particular individual who occupies a public office delivers on the responsibility of such an office.
Okay.
Not just delivering on the responsibilities of such an office, deliver the elements or the dividends of what that your office stands for to the general public. Let's take, for instance, if you want to establish metrics for measurement, there must be institutions, as I mentioned earlier, EFCC and ICPC, that could help regulate the conduct of these individuals. Regulating the conduct of these individuals, there must also be measures to do a recall. When you do a recall, individuals have it on their head that, okay, if I do the wrong thing or I do the right thing, there are metrics to recall me.
Okay.
We have watchdogs that can actually put their eyes on what I do, and if I don't do it well, I'll be recalled, and it will be a national disgrace or embarrassment. People will begin to sit up and do the right thing, and the element of integrity will be on the public space like an illumination of that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ernest. This has been very, very enlightening. Before we wrap up this session, I'd like us to do a little bit of an analysis of the governance structure that we have in Nigeria. Okay. And right now, if it is possible, let's talk about the governance structure in Nigeria, as in the presidency, okay, and all that, integrity in their leadership style, and then let's also talk about how workplaces can also be a place where integrity is like a watchword. Okay. So let's do like a bit of an analysis of what we have in the governance structure today.
Okay. If you critically evaluate the existing government in Nigeria, it is a government that promises on common responsiveness.
Okay.
And if we don't do this, we don't do that. Some individuals even came out to say, hold us responsible.
Okay.
And yes, those factors that they have come out to say will deliver on, we are yet to see a single one of it comes to reality. But then, we can also give credit to this government, one, because to a large extent, for as long as I know, and I have studied and read, they have taken some decisions that some other previous governments dare not to take. Decisions as to removing the fuel subsidy. But on the public space, we want to force that decision. A responsive government with integrity does not just wake up one day and just take a holistic decision. First of all, put it on the table of common metrics and evaluate it.
True.
How will it profit the common man?
True.
Are these policies or decisions taken, or are they people-oriented? Are they putting the common man in view? So when you discover that these policies are not putting the common man in view, put mechanisms in place to help mitigate or cushion the effect or the consequences of such policies. But removal of fuel subsidy is a good decision.
Let's talk about removal of fuel subsidy. I think we still have a few minutes to go. The reason they gave for removing fuel subsidy, right? can you say that these reasons have been implemented? Can you say that it is good? Can you say that integrity is playing out? So if I say I'm removing fuel subsidy so that these people can have a good life, have they really given their word and kept to it?
That is where the
What
question
are they
lies.
using the funds that they take out of the subsidy for? I A lot of questions around it, but let's picture integrity in scenarios like this. Can we say that these people have given us their word and they are actually running with it? Is that what it is right now?
They are not running with it. They have not even started running with it yet. They have only taken decisions that, as far as I'm concerned, favors them. Not, not. It's not the decision that is people oriented.
So it
People are
means we
suffering.
still have a long way
We
to
have a
go.
long way to go. In fact, the proceeds from this subsidy removal, we are yet to see the dividends. We are yet to see what it will help the common man to achieve in the society.
So by this, I'd like to say that we understand that they have good reasons for doing all of the things that they do. They have good reasons for putting in place policies and setting up structures to implement the structures. And by this, please, we're not just referring to the government of Nigeria. We're
Yeah.
also talking about leadership positions in private spaces,
Yeah.
right? So while we have policies implemented, words are spoken, especially at the beginning of contracts and all, it means that you have to follow through to it if you are a person of integrity.
Exactly.
And as a leader, you must be someone who says what you say and do it.
Exactly.
And then you do what you say because people are looking out for you, people are looking to learn from you, and people are expecting that whatever you do is for their own good as well as it is for yours, right?
Yes.
So it means that as a leader, especially in the governance space, yes, wherever you find yourself, integrity is very important. Integrity is very important. It is one of the key components that cannot be done away with. And so if you're a leader and you say this, you have to keep to it. This has been a very amazing topic of discussion, and I have learned a lot. I believe that you have learned one or two things too. Thank you very much, Mr. Yagi Abraham, for enlightening me and enlightening everyone who is listening to this podcast. And I believe that we would have another time to have us complete this session of the podcast. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for taking our time to come. And if you're just joining us, it was an amazing time. I hope that you make our time to join us next time on the Sense podcast. Yet there is a button on your screen where you have the subscribe. Please click on the button, kindly subscribe, like, and yes, share. Thank you very much, and see you on our next episode of the Sense podcast. Thank you very much and have a lovely day.